You're wondering why no one is buying your course anymore. Your sales have stalled, you're freaking out a little, maybe you're refreshing your dashboard in Kajabi and you're saying what used to work doesn't seem to work. Or maybe if you're just getting started, you're saying, people said this was gonna be possible even for me, and you're going, doesn't seem possible. Like, what's happening? I wanna tell you, you're not alone. This is a common thing that is happening right now as the rules of this game have changed. AI has changed the landscape. Selling packaged information is different than it used to be. It's still possible, but it's different. In this video, I'm gonna explain what has changed and how to respond, because the future belongs to those who adapt. If you give up now, you are going to miss out on one of the best opportunities that we have as online business owners to change the game forever for ourselves and for our audiences and for our communities and customers. If you give up now, you miss all that. But if you stick with it and you adapt, you will win this game, and I am here with you to help. Welcome, my name's Lane. If you are new here, I'd love to help people build online businesses that replace their 9-to-5 without hustle, grind, or having to build a large social media following. So if you're into that kind of thing, be sure to subscribe, especially if you enjoyed this video. So if your sales are flatlined and you're wondering what's next and is this possible and is my business going to grow, I'm going to talk in this video about, number one, why that's happening. Number two, how to adapt, and it has to do with reimagining who you're targeting and how you're serving them. We'll get into that in a second. And I'm going to give you a plan, a step-by-step plan to map out the next 2 to 5 to 6 months to make sure that you are doing the things that are going to lead to your success. So by the end of this video, you'll have a game plan to break through the sales plateau and come out swinging with an offer that people respond to by saying, I need this right now. So there are 3 things that you have to understand if you're going to adapt and move forward. Number one, you are not alone. If your sales have stalled, or if your business just isn't taking off and you were taught, like, do it this way and it will work, and it's not working, you're not alone. AI has changed the game. Packaged information in a course is much more difficult to sell as a standalone product. This has not necessarily always been the case. In fact, 5 years ago during the pandemic, when everybody was kind of home and online and searching for a new life and a new way to do things, people were buying courses. They were taking up hobbies, they were starting new businesses, and people were buying information and figuring out, how can I change my life? A lot of that has slowed a little bit and people kind of have gone back to normal. So there's a little bit of malaise and comfort and apathy, but also AI has exploded since about 2022, 2023, 2024. We've seen this massive increase in the usage of tools like ChatGPT. So if it comes to just having a program, if you're a fitness teacher and people need a specialized program for them, where they might have gone to you to get your course or your program, they can go to ChatGPT. Now, again, it doesn't mean that you're out of business. It just means that you, along with anybody else who teaches stuff online, is going to have to adapt to attract the same people that otherwise would have just bought because you had information to sell. The game has changed. So I want you to know, first of all, that it's not you. You're not broken. You don't have a deficiency. It's just that the industry has changed, and so the future belongs to those who have adapted. And I say this because so many people have told me, like, what I'm doing isn't working. What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Am I failing? And we can get kind of discouraged. I've talked to a lot of people who have been very discouraged about this. And I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to feel like there's something wrong with you when really the game, again, has changed. So the second question is, what do you do about that? And that leads us to number 2, which is double down on what's working. Now, if nothing's working, we'll get to that in a second. But if something is working in your business, and when I say working, I mean it's generating leads, it's getting people signed up on your email list, it is converting. In other words, it's selling at some level. It is doing something that you can measure metrics wise that is contributing to the growth of your business. That's what I mean by working. anything that's working, double down on that. And this is really important, especially if sales have stalled, because you have to do the things that work and you have to ignore basically anything that isn't working. And so how do you decide what's working and what's not? Well, the 80-20 analysis is very important. What is the 20% of things that you're doing that are producing 80% of the results? Let me give you an example. So let's say that you're making content on every platform, right? All 6 major platforms: YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You're on all of them. And of all 6 major platforms, you're really only seeing results from, let's say, YouTube and TikTok. Well, then why would you continue to post at the same level and the same frequency on all the other platforms if they're not producing the same results? They're not getting the views, not getting the leads. That's just an example. If you double down on YouTube and TikTok in this example, it would actually contribute to your growth because it's where the growth already is. So when I say double down on what's working and look at 80-20, do these kinds of analysis. If you have more than one offer and one is just sitting there, but the other is selling, promote the one that's selling. Don't necessarily go to the one that isn't selling and try to revive a bad product if it is in fact a bad product. So again, look at everything you're doing through the lens of what's working and double down on what's working. Now, you might be saying, well, nothing's working, all right? And again, you're not alone. This is common right now. You might be saying, okay, it's not like I can look at what's working because I'm not getting the views I used to get, or I was told I could get. I'm not getting the sales that I used to get. What's wrong? Because nothing's working. And that leads us to number 3. Number 3 is rebuild from the core. You need to focus on who, what, and how. You really need to rethink and reimagine the entire foundation of your business. So let's start with who. Who are you serving? Who is the person that you're going after? Not the group of people, not the target audience, but like the ideal customer avatar. And what are the burning questions that they have? What are the burning problems that they need solved? What is the thing that they think about when they wake up in the morning? What is the last thing they think about when they go to bed that relates to the problem that you solve, that relates to your niche? Think about that and define it. And here's why this is important. If your sales have stalled, it might be because the people that you're trying to reach don't know that you're talking to them because you haven't clearly defined who you're talking to. So you always have to go back to the drawing board and say, who am I really speaking to? And if you can get more specific, it will benefit you, especially because when we think about the fact that packaging information isn't the same as it used to be, what really has replaced that is connection and community. So if you're focused on a specific who and you're going after that person, and you build a community and a connection with that person and people like them, then they're gonna find that what you have to offer is more valuable than what they can get on ChatGPT or what they can search out on YouTube, because you have curated a community of thems. Like, they are in your community and they look around and they go, oh my gosh, he's like me, she's like me, we're all in this together, we're in the same place and we're heading towards the same goal. That is a magnetic approach to doing business. And so really define the who. Now, the second thing is the what. So it's who, what, how. The what is what you teach. This is your core essential teachings. And the reason why this is so important is because in the age of AI, where information is just like coming at us, you really want to have your core concepts down. This is called your IP, your intellectual property. What are your frameworks? What are your systems? What are your ways of doing the thing that you teach that stand out from the crowd and that you can package, and not just package in like a course and say, here, buy my thing, but you can really teach in a way that says, I do this better than anybody else, and it's for you. And if you do it the way I do it, and you think the way that I do about it, you're going to see this result, because what you're selling is the outcome. You're never selling a package. This is something that we've never sold. We've never sold a course as an end in itself. Nobody wants a course. What they want is a transformation, which leads us to the how. So there's who you're serving. There's what are you teaching? What are your core concepts? And then there's how. How are you going to do this? And for years, your how would have included a course. And I still believe, by the way, I still believe in courses. I think courses have a place in your online business. We've talked about this in my last few videos, where your course as a standalone product is maybe harder to sell, but if your course is paired with a community aspect, then it becomes a much easier proposition. Now, when you think about the how, what you're really talking about is an offer of an outcome. So it's not a course, it's not a community, it's not a membership. It might end up having those things as a part of it, but what you're selling, your offer, is an outcome. So going back to the who, the problem that they're facing, and what you're teaching, what does that person need from you? What is the outcome that they want? That's what your offer is. And so think about and reimagine your products as outcomes. So now it's not just like buy my course, it's you can have this outcome. And maybe it's not just that buy my course and it'll deliver the outcome, but package it together as a program with community, with other people, and with access to you at some level, and deliver that as your outcome. And I believe that the future of online business is going to belong to people who do this well, who know how to take all of the things that make their content come alive in a person so that that person can experience the outcome. And they know how to package that together in a way that's not just buy my course, but buy this outcome, which includes the course that I built. It includes a monthly call with me. It includes access to my community. It includes XYZ, templates and swipe files, whatever the case is. It is a package that's an offer that delivers an outcome, not buy my course, join my community, but it's an offer. It's a package deal. This is how you break through and you stand out amongst all the people that are just throwing a course together, using AI to do it and trying to sell it, and nobody's buying anymore. If you want to stand out, really get clear about who, really get clear about what, and really define the how. How am I going to help these people experience an outcome and get the transformation using my way of thinking, my frameworks, and my systems? If you do that, you're going to be in business forever. Now, if you want a way to make this happen for you, I want to invite you to download the Super Simple Guide. The reason why this is important is because it has some of the essential core frameworks for defining your who, and then defining your what, and then defining your how. It's over at lanesebring.com/super simple. It's my super simple guide to starting a thriving online business. It's free. You can download it and read it in the next 30 minutes and put it into action. That's at lanesebring.com/super simple. So the game is changing, but if you're willing to adapt, you will win. And this video is going to show you a few more ways that things have changed and how you can continue to adapt your business to those changes. So click right there and I'll see you in that video.